Time to check your pasta water. Check your pasta water. Hi everybody and welcome back to Tasia Makes Dinner. I am Tasia and this will be our dinner, and we're just gonna hang out, have a chat while I make myself dinner, and you're welcome to cook along. You can cook what I'm making or cook your own thing and just hang out. This is a casual sort of affair, a little bit of learning, a little bit of chill, and let's get started. For those who don't know, I am a chef by trade, but tonight I'm just making myself a little bit of a comforting dinner on a Monday night. So let's make it. I'm going to be making a carbonara, but a little bit of a tweak on a carbonara. I've got some beautiful king oyster mushrooms. I will show you. These look like the picture of mushrooms. Like, they are so beautiful, and you can make a sort of bacon out of them, which is really nice for vegetarian carbonara. So we're going to start by cutting up and marinating these mushrooms. Going to take the base off, going to take them in half and cut it in nice chunky batons. So if you don't like mushrooms at all, first of all, I'm sorry for your loss. And second of all, you are very welcome to use bacon or pancetta or something smoky and salty of your choice. But I am going to be making this beautiful king oyster special. You can of course cut these smaller if you like, and have them as small bits, but I like them nice and chunky. For the mushroom marinade, we are going to put in a bowl 2 tablespoons of maple syrup, 1 tablespoon of smoked paprika, 1 tablespoon of olive oil, and 1 tablespoon of peanut butter. Trust me on the peanut butter, it sounds strange, but it won't taste peanut buttery in the end. We're going to mix that all together, and then we're going to toss the mushrooms in it. Smoked paprika, soy sauce, got a little splash more, peanut butter, always crunchy. Well, you can use whatever peanut butter you like, but I am a crunchy kind of gal. Dun, dun, dun. So, what's everybody been up to? I imagine, depending on where you are in the world, very various things. We are very blessed here in Queensland that it's doing quite well at the moment, and we've been able to be out and about a little bit more, which has been lovely. The weather in Queensland winter is just beautiful. It's cold, crisp evenings and mornings, and then it gets sunny during the day, and it just makes me extraordinarily happy. So we're getting this all amalgamated, and then I'm just going to pop the olive oil in, just making sure that peanut butter is combined. Definitely recommend mixing in a bowl with a dragon hand painted on it, but if you don't have one of those, a regular bowl is fine. I love playing around with flavors and textures to create something that tastes quite similar to a classic, but with something all of its own. I think that is a beautiful evolution of food cookery. So I'm just gonna pop a little more olive oil in there. A lot of cooking is more like guidelines than actual rules. Baking is different. You wanna follow the recipe to a T, but something like this, if it seems a little too thick, add a little more olive oil. Another nice thing you can add to this marinade if you happen to have some in your cupboard is a little bit of liquid smoke. I often do. I don't have any tonight, but the smoky paprika is going to give that nice smokiness to it. So now we're just going to pop that aside to marinate for about 10 minutes while we get everything else ready. So I'm going to get my pot of water on a high heat so it comes up to a boil. And we're going to add a good amount of salt. I told Sam in a previous video that you should salt your pasta water till it is as salty as your soul, and I stand by that. We all have pretty salty souls at this point. Italians say your pasta water should be as salty as the Mediterranean, so that's another useful guide if you don't know the salty level of your soul. I'm going to get a nice wide bottomed saucepan, gently heating on a medium heat. We're going to put a little bit of olive oil in there and some garlic. Just going to take the base of this garlic off, crush it, and the skin should just slip right off. Now, as some of you may know, I cannot actually eat onion, garlic, or wheat because I have an intolerance to fructan. However, something I can eat, which totally changed my life, is garlic infused olive oil. So fructan is water soluble, but not oil soluble. So I just cut this up, infuse the oil in it, and then take the garlic flesh out. Most of you, however, can definitely leave the garlic in there, and that is going to be delightful. Now, I don't always do this, but I decided to make my dinner just a little extra bit special tonight. And I happen to have some dried porcini in my cupboard because of who I am as a person. And I've poured a little bit of boiling water on that to soak. This has made a kind of rich mushroomy stock that I'm going to use in the pasta sauce. You do not need to do this, but if you want to treat yourself or make this for someone, something a little bit special, you can get dried porcini mushrooms often in your supermarket or in your local deli, and they will really add something spectacular, let me tell you. It's so hard to describe the smell of porcini if you've never had them before, but they are earthy and rich and almost nutty, and oh, it really is like nothing else. We're going to add an egg yolk later in this recipe, so while I'm waiting for my water to come up and my mushrooms to marinate, I'm just going to separate that egg. You can keep your egg white if you want to use it for something, a sneaky little meringue, an egg white omelette, I guess, if you're into that kind of thing. You can even freeze egg white, or you can just pop that in the bin. You can separate an egg like this using the eggshell, or if you don't mind getting your hands dirty, you can just pop it into your fingers and separate it till all the whites come out. These eggs are from a local farm that has the most beautiful free-range eggs, and I definitely recommend that if you can find a local farmer who raises their own chickens, it is the best way to get eggs, guaranteed. Freshly washed hands. I feel like the whole world is probably the best at washing their hands that they have ever been. Now those garlic are just starting to sizzle, a gentle little sizzle with those little bubbles creeping around the edge of it. And we're going to let it simmer more as all of those gorgeous garlicky flavors seep into the oil. A little bit about me. You probably know, if you've been watching this channel for any time at all, that I love to cook and I love board games. I also love to read and to write. I don't and haven't really given myself enough time to write in the last few years. I've been running my business and it really takes up a lot of the brain power, but I'm just craving it so deeply, and I really want to try and find some time to write and to get back in that creative headspace. And so I'm gonna try, and I'm reminding everybody that if we don't carve out the space to do the things we love, suddenly year after year passes and it doesn't happen. We all know this. So if you need a reminder to do that thing you've been putting off, to pop aside the things that are not as important and make time for the things that are, this is it. Let's check on our garlic, shall we? All right, this garlic has got enough color on it, so I'm going to take it out. You obviously do not have to. You can also take it out and then finally cut it up and sprinkle it over the top for some punchy garlic flavors. And we're just going to go right ahead and put our marinated mushrooms into this warm oil. Can you see this contented dragon? He is so content. All right, we're going to get this heat turned up just a little bit because we want that to caramelize. Oh, lordy, does it smell good in here now. We've got the smokiness of that smoked paprika like permeating the whole room. There's these undertones of sweetness and earthiness. So I think that you have to make this so you can smell what I'm smelling and just report back. Report back on the smell heaven that is happening in your kitchen right now. Now, the next thing we're going to need is some white wine. It doesn't need to be anything fancy, just a nice dry white. Grab a $5 bottle and have that in your cupboard for cooking. I'm going with a Sauv Blanc. Blanc, darling. Can you see those gorgeous caramelizations beginning to happen on the edge of the mushrooms? Let's check our pasta water, shall we? Oh, yep. Tiny bubbles, but not quite there yet. We'll turn it up even higher. You probably want to cook your mushrooms for about 10 minutes. If you have any dishes to do, now's a good time. If the white wine is nice enough to drink, pour yourself a glass, make yourself a cup of tea, just have a chat to a friend. Often if I'm cooking by myself and I'm not chatting to you lovely folks, I pop on an audiobook, which I find so delightful because I can entertain my mind while I keep my hands busy. Alrighty, this is looking pretty gorgeous. We are going to pop in our mushroom stock with the porcinis. Turn that up to a medium-high heat. Let that simmer away. Probably about a half cup of white wine. So I would love to know what is a food memory that is really stuck in your mind. Have you ever been traveling and had something that has changed your day or your life? Do you have a memory that is connected to nostalgia, something your parent or grandparent or friend made you? Perhaps a partner? Food and memory are so beautifully connected, and if you'd like to share your memories, I would love to read about them because I'll probably keep sharing mine. I have a lot and I love to share them and hear about yours. Let's check our mushrooms. Just gonna have a little taste. Ooh, oh, so good. Sweet, salty, smoky, rich, unctuous even. Just, ooh, we need more words to describe textures and flavors, I tell you, because oh, I want to tell you how this tastes. So good. Time to check your pasta water. Check your pasta water. Making up dances for checking your pasta water is an important part of the process. She's so close. All right, that is well reduced, and we're gonna go in with our white wine. It's gonna need another 3 to 4 minutes to reduce down. Guess what time it is? Check your pasta water. Check your pasta water. Okay, I have a spaghetti, but you can use any kind of long slurpy pasta. I also love a rigatoni with a carbonara style. But yeah, we're going in with a classic spaghetti. This is my favorite Italian brand of gluten-free pasta. You want plenty of water. You do not need to put any oil in the water. That's a myth. Plenty of salt, plenty of water, plenty of space for your pasta to swim around and not stick together. And it's normally between 8 to 10 minutes, depending on the brand of pasta, but just check the packet and cook it maybe 1 minute less. All right, can you see that reduction level? I'm just gonna turn that down a little bit. Next up, we're going in with some cream. Probably about a cup for this much. And look, before all the purists come for me, I know a traditional carbonara doesn't have cream in it. It's fine. We're not making a traditional one. We are making a pasta that is inspired by the flavors of carbonara and the long tradition of carbonara that has spread across the world and evolved as it has. So yes, I do love a traditional carbonara, and maybe I'll do it on this channel at some point, but tonight we're going a little bit sideways off the rails. We've just turned this down to do a gentle simmer, so you want to be nice with your cream. You don't want that to split. Can you see the little simmer that's happening in here? Gone from a heckin' simmer to a gentle simmer. Oh man, that is so good. I'm gonna add a little bit of salt and plenty of pepper, and we'll see how we go. Salt largely, I believe, should just be to taste. So taste it, add a little salt, taste it again. It's definitely better to add less than you think and then go from there than add too much. It's harder to adjust. Something that's been very joyous recently about being able to see people a little bit more here in Queensland is that we've got to play board games again. And playing board games online is all right and it's pretty fun, but there is something truly magical about sitting at a table with your friends, sharing sass, sharing strategies, beating each other. So Sam has been able to get a couple of really cool games recently, and we were able to try them, and they were so much fun, and I hope we can get them in front of a camera so we can share them with all of y'all. Also feel free to comment down below on what your favorite games have been recently, whether it's in your house or online or however you're managing to play games in this time of social distancing. Gonna pop that lid back on. If your pasta sauce looking like it's getting slightly too thick before your pasta is ready, feel free to just turn it off for a couple of minutes. No stress, it's not gonna do anything bad to it, but I'll show you. This is kind of what we're looking for. Still got quite a lot of runniness to it, but it has thickened a good amount. I don't happen to have any baby spinach or parsley in the fridge, but if you do, a little bit of green added right at the end would be a wonderful, vibrant finish. Ooh, I can tell you about my chefing journey. So I have known from a very young age that I loved to cook. And there was a point in my teenage years when I realized that I love to cook and I love to write. They are my biggest passions. And so I decided that I was going to take the cooking route so I had something to support me in my writing, and thusly did I begin cooking in commercial kitchens when I was about 15. A couple of years later, I decided to do it officially and start my apprenticeship. Now, I don't know if you know this about hospitality and the chefing industry in general, but it is a pretty toxic environment. And there is part of me that is so deeply glad that I did it, because I have learned so many skills and so many incredible techniques. But there are parts of me that still have scars from the experience. And I think that if you talk to almost any chef, they would tell you the same. It is not just a single restaurant that is like this, it's really the whole industry. And I have been lucky enough at a point to start my own business where I'm trying to create something that is not toxic and is in fact a really wonderful space to work in. That aside, I worked in so many different restaurants. I started out, my apprenticeship was in Italian and French fine dining, and also modern contemporary Australian, which draws influences from those, but also many other cuisines. And I then worked at an Asian restaurant, a French brunch place, and slowly I realized that while I still loved the cooking, I wanted to do something myself. But through all of it, my love of cooking never waned. Not once. Not through 14-hour days, not through crazy head chefs, not through just really crazy environments. The thing that stayed true and strong for me was my love of cooking and my love of creating food that made people happy. So that never went away, and I feel so lucky that I get to do what I love for a job. But if that's not you, that's okay. You can still enjoy making dinner. Totally different ballgame. All right, you ready to strain your pasta? Because I am. Dun, 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 dun. Oof. I left the burner on. Bam, popping it off. Okay, we got our pasta. We got our sauce. We are going to pop this egg yolk into the sauce. Bloop. Give that a nice mix. It's just going to add a thickness and a richness, and it'll mean it'll start to coat the strands of pasta in a most delightful way. See how that's thickening up as it comes in contact with the hot pasta? Just going to add a splash of that reserved pasta water. Going to add some more freshly ground black pepper. And now, ladies, gentlemen, anybody not sitting on a gendered pillow, it is time. It is time to taste this beautiful concoction that we have made together here on a Monday night. Oh lordy. We both know that it is quite a cliche to say that that is delicious on camera, but damn, that is delicious. I hope you make it. I hope you share it with someone you love, even if that someone is yourself. And I can't wait to see you at the table.